All right, buckle up, everybody, because today we're going deep, deep into the world of thesis seminars.
Ooh, thesis seminars.
Yeah, that kind of academic trial by fire where you're, juggling research and deadlines and just that constant feeling of, am I ever going to finish this thing?
Yeah.
But this time, we're in the passenger seat. We've got lecture transcripts, we've got course guidelines. Heck, we even have a syllabus. So
Oh,
it's like we have those backstage passes to this academic pressure cooker.
it is a bit of a research boot camp, isn't it? Like, imagine you're working on your own research project, but with an expert guiding you every step of the way.
Yeah.
That's kind of a thesis seminar in a nutshell.
Yeah.
And this one focuses specifically on language teaching and learning research.
Okay.
We're talking, 8th semester. So these students are nearing the end of their programs,
Right.
and they're facing a pretty intense January to June 2025 timeline with a 15-hour per week workload.
15 hours a week on top of their other courses.
I know, right?
They must be fueled by like caffeine and sheer determination.
Probably.
But hey, that's academia for you, right?
Yeah, that's it.
So let's break down this beast.
Sure.
First up, the infamous 2,500-word literature review.
Ah, yeah.
Minimum 10 references, mostly journal articles, thankfully, but still, I can feel like the phantom stress from here.
Oh, the literature review. It's not just about hitting that word count.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's about building that solid foundation for your research.
Right.
Like I remember one student who, through her deep dive into the existing research, she discovered this study using puppetry to teach language.
Right.
And it completely shifted her research question and led to some fascinating findings.
A puppetry. That's
Yeah.
not what I was expecting.
Right. But to talk about an aha moment.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But it just goes to show like how important that research phase is. So how do these students even begin to tackle like this mountain of literature?
Well, thankfully, they're not alone. During those weekly tutoring sessions, the instructor actually helps them to craft a clear problem statement, a concise thesis statement,
Okay.
and even a skeleton outline for the review.
So it's not just go forth and research.
No.
There's actual guidance and structure involved.
Oh, yeah.
That's good. So speaking of structure, what does a good literature review actually look like?
It's all about telling a compelling story.
Okay.
You start with a hook, something that grabs the reader's attention
Right.
and makes them want to keep reading.
Okay.
And then you delve into the context of the problem,
Right.
explaining why it's important, providing evidence to support your claims,
Right.
and to keep everything organized. You use those clear section headings based on those key points from your thesis statement.
Okay.
It's like a roadmap guiding the reader through your argument.
Right. So it's not just stating the problem, it's
Yeah.
convincing your reader that this problem is actually worth exploring.
Exactly.
I like it. Now, after they've, wrestled that literature review into submission,
Yes.
I'm guessing it's time for some like hands-on research with actual data.
Exactly. But they do get a bit of a breather first.
Oh, okay.
Data collection doesn't start until March 3rd,
Oh, good.
giving them time to really polish those literature reviews.
Right.
And then they can delve into, this exciting world of interviews, focus groups, surveys, and even classroom observations.
Wow.
It's like becoming a detective.
Yeah.
Gathering those clues
Mm.
to solve those mysteries of language learning.
Oh, classroom observations.
Yeah.
They get to see those theories in action.
Right.
Oh, I bet that's where things get really interesting.
Absolutely. And to ensure that they're gathering that reliable data,
Right.
they use these specific instruments, which are basically the tools of their trade.
Okay.
Think of it this way.
Yeah.
A carpenter needs a saw and a hammer, right?
Yeah.
For interviews, it's a carefully crafted set of questions.
Okay.
For surveys, it's a well-designed questionnaire.
Right.
And of course, meticulous note-taking throughout that whole process is crucial.
So it's all about being systematic and organized.
Exactly.
And speaking of organization, the syllabus highlights something pretty crucial. Anticipating those pesky scheduling conflicts.
Oh, yeah.
Holidays, workshops, exams, the things that can throw a wrench into the best laid plans.
Right. Imagine trying to conduct classroom observations during spring break.
Yeah, not ideal.
Not exactly ideal.
No.
So the instructors really emphasize planning ahead and making those data collection appointments early on.
Smart move.
Yeah.
Because I have a feeling things get pretty real once that April 16th data collection deadline rolls around.
Oh, yeah.
And then the mock presentation,
Yeah.
talk about trial by fire.
The mock presentation is like a dress rehearsal for that final oral defense.
Right.
Students present their preliminary findings, they connect them back to their literature review,
Yeah.
and they get valuable feedback from their peers and the instructor.
Well, that's great.
It's a chance to, practice those presentation skills,
Good.
clarify their arguments, and let's face it, conquer those pre-presentation jitters.
For sure. So with data collected and, a practice run under their belt, it's time for the ultimate challenge.
Yes,
Putting pen to paper or fingers to keyboard, as it were, for that final thesis paper.
exactly. And this isn't just a rambling essay.
Yeah.
This paper follows a very specific structure.
Okay.
They'll need to detail their research methods,
Right.
present their findings, discuss how those findings relate to existing research, and explain what those findings mean for, teachers in the classroom.
Right. Right.
It all culminates in a concise conclusion and, of course, an abstract to give those readers a quick overview of the entire study.
Phew. Sounds like a lot of writing.
It is.
And speaking of processing information, I noticed these students also have to do weekly reflections. And I'll admit, I always struggled with self-reflection in grad school.
Really?
It felt a bit like staring into the void, honestly.
I can understand that.
But how does it work in this seminar?
Well, it's actually quite structured and super valuable,
Okay.
both for the student and the tutor. It acts as a progress report, allowing the tutor to track each student's journey and provide that personalized feedback.
So it's not just navel-gazing.
No.
It's a way to identify, strength, weaknesses, areas for improvement. It's like a built-in check-in with yourself.
Yeah,
Guided by, expert feedback. That's actually pretty cool.
it is.
I like that. Now, speaking of challenges, the instructors really emphasize the importance of seeking help when needed.
Oh, absolutely.
Because it's easy to feel, isolated and overwhelmed during a thesis project.
For sure.
But they stress that reaching out to the tutors sooner rather than later can prevent, those small problems from becoming major roadblocks.
Exactly.
Because, let's be real, the stakes are high.
Oh, they are.
We're talking an oral defense, a strict no plagiarism policy, and a potential course failing 0 if they miss too many classes.
Right.
Can you feel the pressure mounting? Oh, I can feel it from here.
Yeah. But that pressure is part of what makes this experience so valuable. Right?
It is, yeah. It's about pushing yourself beyond that comfort zone, developing resilience, and honing those critical thinking skills that will serve them well beyond graduation.
For sure. Plus, that grading breakdown really emphasizes the importance of the entire journey.
Yeah.
40% for the writing process,
Yes.
20% for the oral defense, and 40% for the final written thesis.
It's all important.
So it's not just about that final product.
No.
It's about the growth and learning that happens along the way.
Absolutely.
I like that. And speaking of that final product, let's not forget that word count, 5,000 to 6,000 words.
Oh, yeah.
Plus, of course, those ever-present APA-style guidelines.
Oh, yes.
Ah, yes.
APA style. The bane of many a student's existence.
Right. But it's all about precision and clarity in that academic writing, ensuring their work is credible and easily understood by others in the field.
It is.
I have to give major props to those students tackling this seminar. Me too.
It's a testament to their dedication, hard work, and, let's be honest, a touch of academic masochism.
Right. But they're developing some seriously valuable skills, though. Critical thinking, research methodology, academic writing, public speaking.
Right. They're really getting the whole package.
They're getting it all.
These skills will serve them well, whether they pursue academia or other fields.
Absolutely.
All right. Before we dive into the next part of our deep dive, let's take a moment to switch perspectives.
Okay.
Imagine you're enrolled in this seminar.
Right.
What, burning research question would you choose to explore in this fascinating world of language teaching and learning? What puzzle would you want to solve?
That's a fantastic question to consider.
Yeah.
And we'll pick up our exploration of this thesis seminar journey in just a moment with some additional insights and reflections.
Sounds good. I'm looking forward to it.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the world of thesis seminars. I'm really curious to hear what research questions our listeners would tackle.
I know, right? It makes you realize how much we still don't know about how people learn languages. There's so many avenues to explore, But let's get back to this seminar itself. We've talked about the literature review, the data collection, the mock presentation, and that final paper. sounds, pretty intense, but also incredibly rewarding.
It definitely is.
Yeah.
And thankfully, those instructors,
Yeah.
they provide clear guidelines and regular feedback to help students navigate each stage of the process.
Yeah. Speaking of guidelines, one thing that really jumped out at me was that section on plagiarism.
Oh, yeah.
They don't mess around.
No, they don't.
Any instance of plagiarism, whether intentional or unintentional, results in a 0 for the entire course.
It's a tough stance, but academic integrity is paramount in research.
Yeah.
It's not just about avoiding copying and pasting.
Right.
It's about ensuring that your work is original and that you're giving credit where credit is due.
I remember being terrified of plagiarism in grad school. Like, that pressure can be both motivating and paralyzing.
Yeah. It's interesting how they handle it here. The guidelines even mention that having someone else write your thesis is considered plagiarism.
Absolutely. It's about owning your research and demonstrating your own understanding and analysis. The instructors, they really guide students to develop their own research questions, analyze their own data, and ultimately draw their own conclusions. They're not just following a recipe. They're learning to think critically and independently.
That makes a lot of sense. It's not just about completing the assignment. It's about, developing as a researcher.
Exactly.
Now, we've talked about all these steps leading up to the final paper, but there's one more hurdle they have to clear: the dreaded oral defense.
Ah, yes, the oral defense, the culmination of all their hard work. It's a chance to present their research to a panel of experts, defend their findings, and engage in some, lively academic discussion. It can be nerve-wracking, but it's also an incredible opportunity to, showcase their expertise and receive valuable feedback from leaders in the field. Oh, I can only imagine that mix of excitement and terror they must feel walking into that room.
Yeah.
So what exactly does an oral defense look like? Paint us a picture.
Well, typically, the student has about 30 minutes to present their research. Walking the panel through their literature review, their methodology, their findings and conclusions.
Okay.
And then the real fun begins with a 10-minute question and answer session.
Okay.
Where the judges, they probe deeper into their work, they challenge their assumptions, and they really test their understanding.
So it's not just a one-way presentation. It's a true dialogue, an intellectual exchange between the student and those who have dedicated their lives to this field.
Yeah. It's a chance for the student to demonstrate, not just what they know, but how they think. The judges are looking for critical thinking, the ability to defend their choices, and a clear understanding of how their research contributes to that broader field of knowledge.
Now, I know the instructors provide support throughout the entire process, but are there any specific tips they offer for preparing for this oral defense?
Practice, practice, practice.
Of course.
They encourage students to rehearse their presentations multiple times.
Right.
Both alone and in front of an audience. And not just reciting the words, but really thinking about how to present their information in a clear and engaging way, anticipating potential questions, and crafting thoughtful responses.
Yeah.
It's like preparing for a TED Talk, but with even higher stakes.
I'd imagine that getting feedback from peers during those practice sessions is invaluable.
Oh, absolutely. And the instructors really encourage them to, put themselves in the judge's shoes.
Yeah.
Like, what questions would they ask? Where might they challenge the findings? What additional information would strengthen their argument?
It's all about thinking critically and being prepared to defend their choices, their methodology, their interpretations of the data.
Exactly.
As we're talking about this, it's striking how much goes into preparing for this seminar.
Oh, it's a lot.
From that initial literature review to the data collection, the analysis, the presentation, and then that final defense. It's a real marathon, a test of academic rigor and resilience.
It is. And the role of the tutor throughout this journey is crucial. They're not just instructors, but mentors who guide students through every step of the process, providing feedback, encouragement, and that all-important personalized support.
It's like having a personal research coach in your corner. Tell me more about the tutor's role.
Okay.
How do they help students navigate this, challenging seminar?
They wear many hats.
Okay.
First and foremost, they're facilitators, guiding students through the different stages of the research process. They help students refine their research questions, design their data collection methods, and analyze their findings. It's like having a personalized roadmap for your research journey.
That sounds incredibly helpful, especially when you're dealing with such a complex and demanding project.
It is. And the tutor provides, regular feedback on students' work. offering constructive criticism and highlighting areas for improvement. It's about helping students develop their skills and ultimately produce the best possible research.
So it's like having a built-in editor and cheerleader all rolled into one.
Exactly.
And I imagine the tutor also plays a key role in helping students prepare for that final oral defense.
Absolutely. They offer guidance on presentation style, help students anticipate those tough questions from the judges, and even conduct mock defense sessions
Wow.
to help build confidence and refine their delivery. It's about empowering students to face that panel with poise and conviction.
You know, it's clear that the tutor plays a pivotal role in the success of the seminar.
Yeah, they do.
They're not just instructors, they're mentors who guide students on their research journeys,
Yeah,
providing both academic and emotional support.
exactly. Their expertise, their guidance, and support are essential for helping students develop as independent researchers and produce, high-quality work.
Hmm.
And that emotional support can be invaluable, especially when students are feeling overwhelmed or discouraged.
You know, we've talked about the importance of seeking help when needed, but it's worth emphasizing again.
Okay.
It's easy to feel isolated and overwhelmed during a challenging project like this.
For sure.
And sometimes that fear of judgment or like appearing incompetent
Right.
can prevent students from reaching out.
Absolutely. But in this seminar, the instructors, they really work to create a supportive environment where seeking help is encouraged and seen as a sign of strength, not weakness. They emphasize that the tutor is there to help students succeed, and reaching out sooner rather than later can prevent those small problems from snowballing into major obstacles.
I remember struggling with that in grad school.
Really?
There's this pressure to figure everything out on your own.
Yeah,
But the reality is we all need help sometimes.
we do.
And it's inspiring to see how this seminar fosters a culture of collaboration and support, where students can learn from each other's experiences and, share their struggles and triumphs.
Yeah, it's about creating a community of learners, a network of support that extends beyond the classroom.
Yeah. I love that. It's a reminder that we're all in this together, navigating the complexities of research and the challenges of academia.
We are.
Now, let's talk about something that often causes anxiety for students: the grading criteria.
Mm-hmm.
But in this case, it actually provides clarity and transparency, helping students understand what's expected of them and where the emphasis lies.
Yeah.
What's interesting is that they place a heavy emphasis on the process, not just the final product.
Right. 40% of the grade is based on the writing process itself.
Wow, okay.
This includes those weekly reflections we discussed earlier, active participation in tutoring sessions, and engagement in, whole group discussions.
So they're really looking at the whole picture.
They are.
It's not just about turning out a perfect paper.
Yeah.
It's about demonstrating, active learning, critical thinking, and a genuine commitment to the research journey.
It's like they're saying, we care about how you got there, not just where you ended up.
Yeah. And that makes a lot of sense.
It does.
The journey is just as important as the destination.
Absolutely. And another 20% of the grade is based on that oral defense, which assesses their presentation skills, their ability to defend their research, and their understanding of that broader field. So it's not just about what they know, but how they communicate that knowledge and engage with experts in their field.
And then, of course, that final 40% is based on that weighty final thesis paper.
Right, but even within the paper itself, there's an emphasis on clarity, organization, and adherence to APA style.
Right.
It's not just about the content, but also about the presentation, the attention to detail, and the ability to communicate their research in a way that's both rigorous and accessible.
So it's a holistic approach to assessment, evaluating their writing skills, their presentation skills, their critical thinking, and their overall engagement in the research process.
Exactly. And all of these elements combined create a seminar that's designed to challenge students, support their growth, and prepare them for future success in research and beyond.
It's a model for how graduate education can foster both intellectual growth and personal development.
I agree. It's a testament to the dedication of the instructors and, the hard work and resilience of the students.
Now let's talk about something that's often overlooked, but incredibly important: the role of reflection in the research process.
Okay.
It's not just about churning out data and analysis, but it's about taking the time to step back, examine your own thinking, and identify areas for growth.
Ah, yes. Reflection, that chance to pause and really consider what you're learning, how you're approaching the work, and what you might do differently next time.
In this seminar, reflection isn't just an afterthought. It's woven into the very fabric of the course. Those weekly reflections we discussed earlier, they're a key component, allowing students to track their progress, articulate their challenges, and receive personalized feedback from their tutor.
Right.
It's like having a built-in check-in with yourself, guided by an expert.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it encourages students to become more mindful of their learning process,
Yeah.
to identify their strengths and weaknesses, and to develop strategies for overcoming obstacles. It's about becoming a more self-aware and adaptable learner.
And it's not just about individual reflection. The seminar also includes whole group discussions where students can share their experiences, learn from one another, and, offer support and encouragement.
Right.
It's about creating a culture of reflective practice within the learning community.
Exactly. It's not just about individual achievement, but about fostering that collaborative environment where everyone can benefit from each other's insights and perspectives.
It's fascinating to see how the seminar integrates those practical research skills with those metacognitive skills like reflection and self-awareness. It's about developing, not just competent researchers, but thoughtful and adaptable learners.
And those are skills that will serve students well in any field they choose to pursue.
All right, we've covered a lot of ground today, exploring all these different facets of the thesis seminar. The challenges, the support systems, the emphasis on originality, the grading criteria, and the importance of reflection. But as we approach the end of our deep dive, I want to circle back to the students themselves.
Okay.
Who are these brave souls embarking on this demanding journey? What kind of person willingly signs up for a thesis seminar?
It's a diverse group, for sure, but they all share a few key traits: a passion for language teaching and learning, a thirst for knowledge, and a willingness to push themselves beyond their comfort zones.
Yeah, they're the kind of people who aren't satisfied with surface level understanding. They want to delve deeper,
Yeah.
explore the complexities of language acquisition, and maybe even contribute to the field with their own original research. They're driven by curiosity and a desire to make a difference.
Exactly. They believe that research can inform practice and improve language learning experiences for others. They're not afraid to ask tough questions, to challenge assumptions, and to grapple with the ambiguities inherent in research.
And they're willing to put in the long hours and hard work required to produce high-quality research
Hey,
for the future of this field, and it's exciting to think about the impact they might have.
I agree. It's inspiring to think about these students embarking on their research journeys, armed with the knowledge, skills, and support they've gained from this seminar.
Okay. As we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with a final thought to ponder. Imagine you're sitting in on one of those weekly tutoring sessions. The room is buzzing with energy as students share their research ideas, their challenges, their breakthroughs. What piece of advice would you offer them? What wisdom would you impart based on your own experiences or, your observations of this seminar?
That's a great question to consider, and we'll share our own thoughts when we return for the final part of our deep dive into this thesis seminar.
Welcome back to the deep dive. We've been quite a journey, exploring this intricate world of thesis seminars. And let me tell you, it's been inspiring to witness the dedication and passion of these future researchers.
It really has. These students are tackling complex questions, pushing the boundaries of knowledge in the field of language teaching and learning. It's quite remarkable.
Before the break, we left our listeners with a bit of a challenge.
Right.
What advice would you give to these students as they navigate the ups and downs of their thesis journey? It's a question that got me thinking about my own experiences, both the successes and, let's be honest, the not so successful moments.
I think we all have those moments of doubt and uncertainty, especially when tackling a project as demanding as a thesis. I remember feeling completely overwhelmed during my own master's thesis.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. I was drowning in research articles, struggling to make sense of the data, and convinced I was in over my head.
You overwhelmed. I find that hard to believe.
Oh, yeah.
You always seem so calm and collected when discussing research.
Well, I try to be.
But I guess it just goes to show that we all face those moments of self-doubt.
We do.
So what helped you get through it? What advice would you give to your past self, knowing what you know now?
I think the most important piece of advice I would give is to embrace the messiness of the process.
Okay.
Research is rarely a straight line from question to answer. There are going to be detours, unexpected findings, and moments where you feel completely lost, and that's okay.
It's like you're on a hike and you think you're following the trail, but then you end up like bushwhacking through some unexpected terrain.
Right.
It's frustrating, but sometimes those unexpected detours lead to the most amazing discoveries.
Exactly. It's about being flexible, adaptable, and willing to adjust your course as you go. Don't be afraid to let go of your initial assumptions if the data leads you in a different direction. And don't get discouraged if things don't go according to plan.
Speaking of getting discouraged, what about those moments when you hit a wall and just feel stuck? What advice would you give to students struggling to, make progress?
First of all, remember that you're not alone. Every researcher, from seasoned professionals to first-time thesis writers, experiences those moments of frustration. Don't be afraid to reach out for help, whether it's from your tutors, your professors, or your fellow students. Sometimes just talking through your challenges can help you see things from a new perspective.
It's like that saying, a problem shared is a problem halved.
Right.
And I think that's one of the strengths of this seminar. They've created a culture of collaboration and support where students can learn from each other's experiences and help each other through those tough spots.
Absolutely. And don't underestimate the power of taking breaks, stepping away from the research for a while, and coming back with fresh eyes. Sometimes those moments of rest and reflection can lead to those aha moments, those sudden insights that help you move forward.
It's like when you're working on a puzzle and you stare at it for hours, but you just can't see the solution.
Right.
Then you walk away, do something completely different, and when you come back, the pieces suddenly fall into place.
Exactly. And remember to celebrate those small victories along the way. Completing a chapter, analyzing a set of data, nailing a practice presentation, these are all accomplishments worth acknowledging. It's easy to get bogged down in the enormity of the task, but those small wins can help to maintain your momentum and motivation.
Great point. It's like those distance runners who focus on reaching the next mile marker rather than fixating on the finish line.
Right.
It breaks down the challenge into more manageable chunks and helps you to stay focused on the present moment.
Right. And finally, remember why you're doing this. What sparked your initial curiosity? What questions are you burning to answer? What impact do you hope to make? Let that passion fuel you, even when the going gets tough.
Beautifully said. It's a reminder that research is not just about collecting data and writing papers, but it's about pursuing knowledge, exploring new ideas, and potentially making a difference in the world.
And that's something worth celebrating.
Well said. I think we've offered some valuable advice for our listeners who are on their own research journeys, whether they're seasoned academics or just starting out.
I agree. It's been a privilege to delve into the world of thesis seminars and witness the passion and dedication of these future researchers.
And for those of you listening, we hope this deep dive has sparked your own curiosity about the world of research and inspired you to keep asking questions, seeking knowledge, and exploring the mysteries that surround us.
Until next time, keep diving deep.